wanted you to go there, what was it, 4 years ago, I thought, is this going to be a little too Eastern Europe for Sarah? I was like, I don't know, but I really dig it. And there's so much stuff there that's completely not what you're thinking about Eastern Europe. But as far as it's not about the concrete bunkers and the blah, 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 blah. It's like you meet these people that live a totally like 200 years ago. It's just, yeah, I love it. It's such a neat place.
So Andrew and I started this tour. He ran it, 2017 was your first year? 2016?
Yep. Yeah, 27, yeah, something like 2017, I think.
Yeah. And we ran the first one together in 2019. So that was the first Adventures with Sarah tour of Romania. And we have decided that we have a real commitment to Romania, even if it's a tour that, let's just say, doesn't attract the most guests. Like Ireland has a 25-person waiting list right now. Romania has a couple of people on it, and we really hope to encourage more people to consider taking this tour because it is, I think, kind of a cornerstone item on our menu of tours because it is something that's really going to push you a little bit out of your comfort zone. And you get to see, I guess this is the way I put it. That tour is not a tour through a place. It's time travel. It's the closest thing you can get to time travel I've ever seen anywhere in the world, you know?
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that I used to tell people, why Romania, isn't it like, I don't know, Dracula and gypsies and whatever ugly communist crap? It's like, well, there's all of that too, but usually when you go with us, you meet all these people that just, well, yeah, as you'll see in the slideshow, and you get that there's villages and places that are just, I don't know. I've been a lot of places in Europe, not all these places outside of Europe like you, Sarah. And I'm like, I have not seen this. So I could there's very few countries I can imagine that will still kind of have this vibe or this atmosphere or whatever. So I think Romania is really special in that. It's more than just like, this is a cool city and here's a nice, cute little spot. It's just, I don't know, it's its own unique thing.
They've held on to their traditional lifestyle in a way that I haven't even seen in really third world kind of countries. I mean, they live very traditionally. Maybe in Africa, you can see some cultures that have really clung to their traditional way of life. Romania, especially in the northern part of Romania, it's like old world Europe from like 200 years ago. It's crazy. I mean, I remember when we were in the minivan driving down the road one day and there was like a funeral procession. Everybody in the town was dressed head to toe in their traditional costume and banners and I mean, crazy. It was really just a fascinating place. So that's why we're going to kick off today with, I guess, kind of a message, which is we would like to make an argument. Here is why you should put Romania on your travel wish list, because it is the most, I will say this, it is the most underrated country in Europe, in my opinion.
Awesome. And everyone knows, like, I live in Slovenia, and I've got my connections to Slovenia. You've got your Italy connections, and you're probably thinking, no, Italy's like kind of your first home, and Slovenia is my first home. But I always say, like, Romania is a place I'd go. Like if you've been to my place, then Romania is the next place you should go. I've felt that way for many years. It's and you know what? When the people who do take the plunge, take the chance, that's such a big shock for them in a very positive way.
Yeah. So anyhow, well, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk. We're going to talk Romania today. We're going to tell you a little bit about the tour that we offer. How many days is it these days? I don't remember.
It's 11. It's 11 days, and this tour is a special. It's like the one we ran earlier this year. It's over Orthodox Easter. We kind of schedule it just so we can have some special experiences, and we'll point those out in the slideshow.
Yeah, so Orthodox Easter, if you don't know, is a different time of the year. It's a few weeks difference than our Christian Easter, but the Orthodox Easter is full of pageantry and events. So it's kind of like going to Venice during Carnivale in a weird way. I mean, it's like you're going to Romania for the big event. That's their big religious holiday of the year. So you actually get to experience that. I heard from a few people that went on the tour this past year, and boy, they thought that was really a very special thing. So if you're interested and you can travel in April, you too can have a really cool experience. So,
and I think on this tour, it's probably the only thing that we have on any of our tours where at midnight the guests are going to go out and do something, because they have a midnight mass during this Easter time. So all the guests were like up at midnight going to this, midnight mass there. And it's like, that's crazy. I mean, you might be out at a bar in Paris drinking at midnight with a few tour members, but usually you're not like, hey guys, it's midnight, let's get going on the tour day.
Yeah, that's super true. Okay, so you have a little bit of a slideshow for us?
I do. Yep, I do. Hold on a second here. We're gonna do that. And
I'm surprised you're not wearing your Romanian outfit with your cap and your embroidered
oh
shirt.
yeah, but you know what? I'm gonna lame out on my excuse and say it's a little too cold in my house for that, so I need something warm on.
Yeah, I actually would love to wear my Romanian blouse because that's a real cultural thing. The Romanian blouses with all the embroidery, which I have 2 of them. But yeah, it's like 29 degrees outside, so I'll skip that for today.
So first, we're just going to watch just a short little clip on the Maramuresh region. That's one of the regions that Sarah and I were talking about, where you really get this traditional kind of vibe and architecture and people wearing traditional things. And then we'll go through some photos. I got a bunch of like short little video things and a lot of photos. And a big shout out to George, who's our tour leader for this coming year and was our tour leader this past April. He put the videos together for us. So thank you, George. And those are some of, I think they're all in Maramuresh. They have like 3 of the tallest wooden standing structures in Europe with those wonderful churches they've built there.
Wow. For those of you just joining us, Andrew and I are getting back into the slideshow habit, and today we are presenting our tour of Romania, which is led by our friend George. And we actually, just as a reminder, we take really small groups. Last year, I think it only had 4 or 5 people on the tour, didn't it?
Yeah, we had 4.
Yeah. So it's a really great opportunity to see something very different. You know, the thing that really struck me about Romania, in this picture particularly, is how beautiful the landscape is, the rural landscape. I just don't even know what I thought Romania was going to be like. But I think, as you said earlier, my image in my head was like communist block housing and, you know, Nadia Comaneci. Like, that's all I got. I got nothing else. A Ceausescu, maybe, like something like this. I got nothing else. And when I got there, the thing that really, really struck me was the beautiful rolling hills landscape, those incredible haystacks that just look like something out of a storybook, the traditional dress, and that wooden architecture that you're talking about. Absolutely gorgeous stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with Romania is, I mean, it's got the Carpathians there, and they're like they're everywhere. There's so many different mountain ranges, and then there's just so many of these rolling hills. This whole Maramuresh region is chock-a-block with stuff. And one of our favorite things on all the tours, I think, are
Babas. Babas, yep.
I think someday we need to run like a Baba only tour where it's like a Baba staycation where it's like it's 7 days and every day there's gonna be a Baba there, like giving you advice on your life, cooking for you, like taking care of you. I think there'd be an audience for that.
I find that all the Babas, they like want to embrace you. Like, this woman just like wanted me to be her daughter. It was very cute. Like, gave me hugs and snuggles. It was very sweet.
Yeah, I think we just like stopped at the roadside to buy some honey.
Yeah.
And then we ended up with the Baba thing. And so these are like, I mean, this is the thing that, like, I don't know where else you really go in Europe where you're gonna see a fair amount of horse carts and ox carts and things like that going down the street, not like on the dirt sidetrack, but actually on the street. And there's even street signs in some places in these villages where it's like they got the horse cart icon with the extra. It's like, do not park your horse cart here, which just, to me is just,
And one of the things I think that is so interesting is the kind of juxtaposition of this really old-fashioned lifestyle, but it's actually a very modern country. Like the hotels are all really nice, nice bathrooms, like nice restaurants, like all the things that you find in Western Europe, but then also this.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that Romania promotes, and it's true, is especially for digital nomads, they have like the fastest internet, or one of the fastest internet speeds in all of Europe. So yeah, you might be kind of in the middle of nowhere, but internet's fast, and you do have all your modern conveniences. Yeah, I mean, there's all these like little markets. Sometimes you just roll into a village and find people, like her selling cabbages, because why not? I think if you are looking to buy a horse or an ox or all sorts of strange animals that you wouldn't think, you can buy those here in Romania. It's probably fairly easy, and George, I'm sure, can negotiate for you.
Probably not going to fit in your carry-on though.
No, probably not. So one of the things that we saw with those wooden churches is obviously there must be some people who are amazing wood carvers, and we visited a bunch of different wood carvers there. They just make they make gates, they make the steeples for churches. I think this is the one that we saw in 2019. And you could just see this amazing gate there, and you go in and meet him, and he's usually working on some project, and most of them are quite large. So it's like the traditions are all kept alive. I mean, there's villages where it's just like, here's a guy making hats, and here's this wood maker, and here's a few people that make the hard alcohol called Suica. So there's probably more of those.
This guy, I remember when we visited him, he was very proud of that church steeple that he was making by hand. So yeah.
I mean, you wonder like how long. I mean, everything there is just wood. How long that actually takes, and this huge cross with all the. I mean, it's so intricate carving, and everyone there is. What's great is, of course, with the small groups is you have time to chat with these people, and if they don't speak English, you've got our guides get to translate everything, and everyone gets to have the conversation and all those questions they that they could answer, and there's time for that, and everyone, of course, loves to talk with guests. So
yeah, we have really great guides, by the way. So George is our guide. Our guide in the past, Alexandra, is now the mayor of Bucharest.
So well, I think if the mayor of Bucharest gets assassinated, then she will be the mayor.
Yeah, she's like deputy mayor. She's the mayor of a district of Bucharest. Yeah. And so I laugh about that, first of all, because she's amazing, but also because like that's the caliber of our guides.
I know. It's like I like this tourism stuff. I think I'm gonna go run Bucharest, the capital city of my country with 2 million people in it. It's like, okay, sure. I totally understand, tourism's cool, but
No, she realized after being able to handle the two of us on a tour that she was absolutely prepared to run a 2 million person city. So
yeah, and I mean she's cleaning up that city. So it's like when you get to Bucharest, like, wow, it's cleaner than I thought. It's like, okay, well, Alexandra probably had a lot to do with it, because she's always doing something there. And Bucharest is funny because I mean it's a big crowded, capital city, 2 million people, and then here you've got you've got just these tiny little villages and towns, and these and it's so quiet too. You could just kind of hear nature. So yeah, these are so one of the things that's interesting is, I mean, outside's amazing how they do everything, and all these churches are really made without nails, which I'm still not exactly sure how that's done. But inside, everything inside too is so intricate, and you could see all these different paintings they have on the ceiling here. I mean, they have the normal icons there on the wall, but the ceiling, this is me just laying on the ground looking up at the candelabra and looking at the ceiling there. But everything in a lot of these places, they've done restoration work, so you could really see the details and colors that they have here. It's amazing.
Yeah, Romania is really famous for their decorative arts, and it's an interesting crossroads if you're interested in art, because it is kind of the meeting point between East and West, because they had a lot of Orthodox people push into Romania, but then, you know, it also had a really strong Western Christian tradition. Plus, you also had the influx of the Ottomans, and I mean, all kinds of interesting stuff. So the style of art I found very interesting, because it seems like it's a crossroads between East and West style art.
Yeah, and so this church here, it's Orthodox basically, but because this part of Romania was part of the Habsburg Empire, they had to have allegiance to the Pope. So you can see in this photo, you can see in this picture, there's a photo of Francis there on the wall, because you know it's like, okay, we kind of have all the every tradition like that the Orthodox we have, but you know, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we're aligned with the Pope. So it's like this, like you said, like a mix of East and West. So this is a video that George made a few years ago of the midnight mass. So we're going to give that a whirl. And yeah, you could, you know, it's like you gotta stay up a little late, but I mean, these are the kind of festivities that go on that, you know, it's really once a year you can take part in. So. All right. Yeah, let's see. Let's see if it loads.
Domnul oștirilor, acesta este împăratul mădirii.
Wow, what a shot. Some of the audio on this isn't really playing very well, Andrew, so I think what I'd like to do, we will repost this little clip over the weekend, so you can see the clip in a little bit more of a clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shoot.
It's beautiful though. It's interesting looking at this, because I mean, you see these costumes and you think this must be 50 years ago, but it's not. This is this year, 2022.
Yeah, we didn't experience this.
Wow, that's just super cool. So the group gets to go and participate in that. And just remember, you know, if you're not a religious person, that's okay. Participating in local religious traditions, no matter what your persuasion is absolutely acceptable. That's fine.
And one of the things I should point out in that video and in these other photos is the people, all the women, and especially the kids who are wearing these outfits, like that's like normal. They're not just wearing it because it's the Easter celebration. You really get to see people dressing a certain way, very different than us, just on a regular basis. It's not, everything's not only just for the specific festivities. And all the colorful headscarves. I mean, that's everywhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, when we were, so the tour we did in 2021 wasn't during Easter. So in this village we were at, the same village that from the videos and photos, we hired a group of a trio of musicians, and then this dance group, which was, I think they were from ages 6 to 18, and they came out for a couple hours and performed. It's fantastic. And it's also kind of cool just to see, like, you know, teenagers, you know, like I can't imagine our teenagers dressing up and doing this, especially for strangers, for guests like us. And here it just seems like everyone gets along and they're all very proud of what they're doing.
The hair cracks me up. It's like the bouffant from the 60s.
It is, like you said, time travel. So yes.
It is, it's time travel. I mean, these are pictures taken this year. I just have to stress that. It doesn't look like it.
No, exactly. And then these hats that's like, I should get, next time I go, I think I need to get one of those just so I can be.
Oh,
like
I thought you got
100%.
one of those. You didn't?
No, I've got one of these really nice shirts that they have on, but I don't have the cap, and I've been there enough that you know, I probably should. Although I'm really, to be honest, like, am I going to wear it outside of Romania? Then I don't know.
Yeah, I took that picture.
Yes, this is this nunnery, Barshana. That's all. I think it was all redone after Ceausescu regime, after communism, after '89 or whatever. And this is just amazing complex. It's crazy. You're just driving, kind of, you know, there's nothing around, and all of a sudden, boom, there's this. And of course, these pictures were taken during the Easter, so you could see how many people are there, quite a bit.
It's very fairy tale like. I mean, I don't know how to describe that region better than that. It's just like it's driving through a storybook.
Yeah, and it's not like it's not like the Disneyfied fairy tale where it's all like, you know, it's a small world where there's some guy behind it all, like, controlling it. It's very natural.
Yeah.
And then one of the great things, of course, always when you have babas is cooking and baking things. I know our group there this year, they did bread. I think they made soup, they painted eggs, which we have some pictures of, stuff like that. But yes, these are the painting.
Oh, they did the Pisanki eggs. Oh, that's so cool. Neat. We didn't do that.
No, we didn't. I think we visited an egg, so a woman who paints eggs, but yeah, we didn't do it. But yeah, some hands-on stuff there.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, I mean, that once again, like when you especially when you have a really small group like we did this year, you can do this. I mean, it's, you know, you can really kind of go anywhere and just sit down in the living room with someone and kind of get their whole story. This is, of course, this photo is from the tour that I did, because it's like, let's have a whole pig, barbecue that for dinner on the spit. So
Next.
next. All right. Hey,
that was
all
a
right,
really gross photo, actually.
Yes, I know.
But hey, I took this picture because this was our really, really beautiful cooking class that we did.
And we could see the small bowl has got that just thing of like cubed up lard. Yum, yum, yum.
How is it you don't weigh 500 pounds? I don't understand it.
I don't know. Yeah, well, I'm not sure either. I think that's actually, I probably should figure out how that's possible. But yeah. All right. Here's just a short video of the baba stirring the stew or the soup.
That looks delicious.
Oh, that looks really good. Actually, I'm kind of hungry now.
Yeah. No, these. This is our group. Hey, there's Pamela there. She's putting some fire. She's putting some wood on the fire.
Yeah, so we did an outdoor cooking class, which was so beautiful in the fall. So we did like meatballs or something like that. We did, I don't know, I mean, it was all day. We were there all day, and it was a lot of it was cooking stuff, but it was also eating bread and swinging in the swings and taking pictures of haystacks. So it was really just a beautiful day.
Yeah, I think we had a cauldron there full of some kind of goulashy soup that was just excellent. So one of the things that's so original, especially, I mean, in this region, is this Mary Cemetery. It's so, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's plenty of interesting cemeteries, I think, in Europe that people can visit, and you don't have to be like some kind of goth or vamp or whatever to get into them. But this one is just, I mean, it's got such beautiful artwork. I mean, it's really like an outdoor art gallery for me.
So when I was looking at pictures for the slideshow today, I found that I have a bunch of video that Alexandra and I took talking about this and showing some of our favorite tombstones. So I'm going to try to put that together this weekend to post on Facebook and on YouTube, because this is such a unique place. It's called the Mary Cemetery because people in this village, when they die, they get these beautiful headstones. But the headstones are usually a very unfiltered story about that person to give you a flavor of who they were, either like something about the way they lived, or could have been something about the way they died. Like one of them I remember was like somebody who went to Paris and got hit by the metro. And it was like, oh, and this person drank too much. I remember that.
I mean, yeah. Usually, there's a lot of food and alcohol. Like, hey, I think I'm gonna make. I think Grandma here needs to make some really strong liquor, so we can survive through the winter,
Yeah, and the
But
words
yeah,
underneath tell the story almost like in limerick kind of fashion, if I remember correctly. So it's very funny because some of them are kind of embarrassing, actually.
Yeah, I like, and what I remember is like you don't get you pay this in advance before you die, and you don't get a say in what the actual image is of you're going to be in. Probably you don't get a say in the story either. So
Nope.
I think if your family or in-laws don't like you very much, it's definitely not going to be a flattering tombstone there. Yeah. Oh yeah, this one with I think she's baking or maybe making soup or something like that. But it is, I mean, it's so damn colorful. I mean, yes. Oh, here's the guy who got hit by the car. I mean, he's looking up at the sky like, what's going on? It's like, buddy, you should have used a crosswalk. I asked, that was like 10 or 12 years ago. I asked, and the going rate was something like $1,200 to $1,500 for one of these. So
Holy cow, that's a lot of money in Romania.
it is. So I'm guessing, I mean, it's not like, hey, everyone who lives in this area is not buried here. So I think you got to kind of save up for it or have some connections. Oh, hey, here's a, I would just play, this is a short clip. Hopefully the audio is going to work on this one. This is just Alexandra reading one of the tombstones here.
A woman who died when she was 80 years old. Her name was Nana.
I can't really hear it, but can you say it? What she's saying?
So 80-year-old woman who died. Very tough and powerful woman.
She was a widow and she was in her senior years. She had a young boy.
She was a widow, and she had one boy. So yes.
So most of these poems are not very cheery.
Alexandra says, like, most of these poems aren't very cheery. Which, I was like, no shit. But yeah, no, that's that's a one-of-a-kind place. I'm pretty sure you went here too when we were. This is like the village has got this water mill, so they've got like a washing machine, and they're doing all sorts of stuff in this village.
No, I don't remember that.
Okay, all right. Yeah, well, it's one village has got they're doing washing, they're distilling there, because they're right on this like little river, which was actually, it was raining when we were there, so the water was flowing really well. Yeah, it's like that's the kind of, it's like the place you go. It's like, oh yeah, here's the one village with the water mill. This is This is a bottle. It's called Suica, or it's a Palinka. It's also called in Hungary. They call it Palinka. In Romania, I think they call it both. Very strong stuff, as I think you probably can recall. And then
No, I don't
you go
recall it at all.
Yes, you exactly, of course. Yeah, it's some strong stuff. But hey, they've got cold winters, so I could totally understand. And this is just in some I mean, some people just have like their house looks like a museum, but we're not going to like a museum. We're just going to visit someone in these villages, and they have all this. So obviously, like this person looks like their bedroom's already for winter there.
Oh, geez.
It's just, but the amount of like embroidering and sewing, I mean, it's amazing. And so those are, I mean, it's such a cool place to, if you're going to buy stuff. I mean, in Romania, there's so many, like if you buy anything made in China and Romania, like that should just be outlawed, because there's so many cool things handmade by people you get to meet.
Yeah. Wow, that bed looks cozy.
Yeah. These guys look really warm with those hats on and the fur.
Yeah, and this is just one of the fun things about this tour is that we actually do visit people's homes. I can't remember how many we visited, but probably 4 or 5 at least people's homes, which was, I thought, just something very special.
Okay, you just pop in. So I had to include this. This is a Seattle Times from Sunday, April 11th, 2010. I don't know if they still do the reader postcard in the travel section anymore, but this is a photo that I submitted when I went to Bukovina, which is the Maramuresh, which we've seen all for the first 20 minutes. That's in the northwest, and Bukovina is in the northeast region of Romania. You just cross a mountain pass, and then you're into this new region. And I must have taken this probably 2006, 2007, but they had these beautiful painted monasteries that our group goes to visit. It has a wonderful group photo there. But they're all painted on the outside, which is, and the fact that they've, a lot of the facades have stayed, even, I mean, obviously with renovations, but still the vibrancy of some of the colors and the details, the fact that it's been out in the elements for what, 500, 600 years is just amazing.
Yeah, and there are multiple colors too. There's a blue one, there's a green one, and I think a red one, right?
Exactly. There's 4 of them. Yeah, it's blue, green, red, and one is yellow. Like the blue and the red ones are the most obvious because you just see so much of those specific colors. Yeah. But they have just massive things, and some of them. There's one of them. This is Suchavita is the one that has more of like a complex around it. So you have like it's more like a little mini fortress than with some walls and some towers, and then inside you have these churches that are all painted on the outside. And then this Moldovica, which is close to one of the steam engines that we take, and we have the nuns giving us the tour, which is really great. And I was thinking, okay, well, the nun's going to come, and then we're going to have George translate everything. And yeah, no, she just speaks English like us. So there. What's cool, I think I think in Moldavita one, there's actually Siege of Constantinople. They drew that. So these are like Ottoman Turks here. And the Turks did go through Romania, and certainly, and not all of it, but certain parts of it. So these are just details. And what's interesting here, Sarah, is you can see, like a lot of places, you can see graffiti I see something from 1894 and I think there's something from 1830 or 1836. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like a bunch of just like dweebs, like coming, visiting, and tagging stuff up just like nowadays. So
just as a idea about how we're moving around the country in this slideshow, the first part we showed you was a region called Maramuresh, and that's kind of in the north region of Romania. Bukovina is a totally separate state basicday of Romania, and that's towards the Ukrainian border, if I remember correctly. And absolutely different flavor though, because people they don't wear the folkloric costume as much. It's just a very different thing. And then we move south into like Transylvania, which has yet another flavor. So this is what's kind of interesting, is that as you move around Romania, you see the traditions and the costume and all that kind of stuff change.
Yeah, and this is like you were talking about the accommodations there. I mean, you've got these like almost like cabins, but it's a hotel with these small cabins out. Just so like everyone just is they've got immaculate gardens and everything's so well kept, and but it's all this traditional style, which to me is, I mean, I love that. I mean, I don't need to go to Europe to stay in some corporate hotel. This is the woman in Bukovina that does this style of paint of painted eggs. So I think you might have visited her on the tour we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're at her home. So I think on this tour, there was 11 guests and myself and the guide. So yeah, I mean, it's, you know, and you're there, and of course they're going to offer you drinks and some other stuff, and just chit chat about whatever. It's so great. I think, I mean, I really would say one of the best things you can do on any travel or tour is go to the house of a local person. Is like, that's its own experience. Like it's something completely special. Oh, hey. All right, you got steam trains.
Yep. The
We
steam
got
train excursion is so much fun. And what was really interesting for me when we did this was the steam train cars that we were in. I recognized them. And the whole time we're sitting on this train, I'm like, this is so weird. These cabins look so familiar to me. Why does this train look so familiar to me? And when we got off, you see the little sign on the side of that, the red and white there. They still had the old ones on there. These are old Jungfraujoch cars from Switzerland that they obviously sold to Romania. So I've ridden in these coaches before, but in Switzerland.
Wow, okay, that I didn't know.
Yeah.
They're so cool. Yeah, and it's so, yeah, I mean, and you actually go somewhere. I mean, like both of the steam train trips we've done. I mean, you're going into nature. You're either going through mountains or you're going through little villages and stuff like that. I think when we did it, it was quite cold, but inside it's nice and warm, and you always have to have these goofy photos because you get to dress up in costume.
Debbie's a good sport.
Yes, they're very, very good sports. Yes, and then you arrive somewhere, and then you have lunch, and you get to relax. And like this guy was just, obviously he knew when the steam train arrived, because he set up his little thing and had his violin playing and his cute little dog. He got some Romanian money out of me. That's what I recall. And then, hey, Sarah, do you think in Romania they eat meat? Do they like meat in Romania?
They like some meat with their meat with a little meat on top. But I will say this though, if you're a vegetarian, don't let that put you off, because there are a lot of good like bean soups and breads and eggplant dip and all that kind of stuff. So there are options for vegetarians, but yes, they do like their meat. That is correct.
Yeah, because when I looked at this photo today, I was like, wow, it's like, you know, it's like what meat eater wouldn't love this? But they have polenta everywhere. Everything's with polenta, potatoes. You know, for me, it's like I mean, I love comfort food. I think Romania does comfort food really well.
Yeah, they do. And the food is like, that was an image from like the steam train ride. When you do the steam train ride, and the terminus on one end is like a lunch buffet. And it's always like really nice, like stews and cabbage rolls and fresh bread and all kinds of stuff. I just thought the food everywhere was really good because it's really fresh and they use really good ingredients.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, there's one barbecue place I always go to, because I just get, if there's barbecued ribs on a menu, I'm probably going to get them. And we all just went here, and you know, yeah, it's so yummy. I wish, putting this slideshow together, I wish I was back in Romania right now. That's one thing I could say for sure. All this stuff looks so.
I think that Romania is very much one of those cultures where food is love. You know, I think that's true of a lot of Eastern European cultures, but particularly there, I definitely had that sensation that, you know, when people feed you, but then again, it's also that when they feed you, you kind of have to eat it because the woman who made it is staring at you.
Exactly. She was like, what? He doesn't like my soup?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. No, it's great. And then you've got always, you could always find some kind of goulashy thing. This is like a chicken paprikash.
Ooh, that looks good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's what I was putting this together, and I was like, oh man, I need this.
It's lunchtime. You're making me hungry. Oh, okay. Come on, stop. This is not very
Okay.
nice.
All right. Okay. All right. So now, hey, so now we've got those Bukovina and Maramuresh are the northern regions, and they're definitely more rural and kind of idyllic, whatever. Now, Transylvania, I think totally lives up to what people have in their mind when it's like, oh, some medieval stuff and there's some vampire Dracula stuff. And Sigashwara is, to me, like that's the quintessential like medieval town. Like everyone should film their movie in Sigashwara because you don't have to do much. You just get rid of the satellite dishes or the telephone lines, and it looks like it could be, Middle Ages here. So
Yeah. You can visit the House of Dracula in Sigishwara, which is pretty fun. It's really goofy.
it is goofy.
But
So-
wow, look at this. And right here, what you're doing right now is yet another reason that I think people should put Romania onto their wish list for travel is look at that photography. I mean, it's like a photographer's playground everywhere in Romania. I took so many beautiful shots, like without even trying.
Yeah, all these colors. So I have to say this, this Transylvania place influenced me so much, inspired me so much that yes, Sarah, I put it in my comic book. And this is Sigashwara, and I honestly think if people go there or read the comic and then they go there and be like, that looks like that. And I had so much fun because I was like, hey George, can you give me a bunch of pictures? Because I'm like, I want to make it look like it really looks to some extent, but let's make it like not modern time. So in this, I have someone at the bottom right corner, Sarah, there's someone put a horse cart, and someone said, oh crap, you can't have that there because this is supposed to be 20th century. And I was like, what are you talking about, man? It's the 21st century. There's horse carts everywhere in Romania.
Yeah, yeah, they
It's
do.
like,
Even
you don't
today.
have- even today, they're everywhere. So yeah, it's just it's an amazing spot there. Really dig this. Yes, and I think this is in there's the
Yes.
Dracula, yes,
Yeah,
and it's like a
that's in-
restaurant too, and that's like hey, it's Vlad the Impaler, Vlad Tepes, and there's actually, I mean, there's really good history there, and you learn all that there, but it's not just like, oh, it's some Dracula stuff, and Bram Stoker went, not even go there, but learned about it and wrote it. But no, there's really interesting history with Vlad the Impaler, and this is the sign outside of his restaurant because dragon, he's the order of the dragons, or Dracul, so that's where we got Dracula from. Okay, so gonna do a short video here. So this is another one George put together. This is gonna have Brasov, which is kind of like one of the big main cities we visit in Transylvania, and some of these really small towns outside of it that were settled by German Saxons, and they have these very cool kind of we call it like a fortified church. It's like a small fortress with a church in the middle. So we'll take a look at this.
This was a really neat area because, again, very different. And I love Brasov. This might be my favorite city in Romania, actually. So pretty. This is not Vienna.
Yeah.
It's so pretty, too, because it's like right in the middle of a forest, this gorgeous, gorgeous city.
Oh, those mountains.
That's the Carpathians, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just beautiful. Some nice camera work here by George, that's for sure. Yeah, so this is what's neat about this region, is it really is a mixture of, villages, but just beautiful, beautiful countryside. Gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, I've for my money, it's the most beautiful country in Eastern Europe. I mean, the land, the mountains, and the landscape, and I mean, I think whatever you're on a train or a bus or a van or wherever you're going, there's just something out the window to look at. It's really pretty. And this is just a few pictures from one of these, let's say, fortified churches that we visit around there. It's just so, and the thing is, once again, you get all these places to yourself too. You're not fighting the wave after wave of tourist buses that are coming here. And I just love, I love like how like so many little houses have their own color, you know, it's like, I got light blue here, green, yellow. It's just like everyone decided to go paint up their own place. Um, I wanted to show this because sometimes you have talented musicians on your tours. And I know in most of these little churches, they'd be like, don't touch this, don't go here, you know, rope this off. And here it's like, hey, can we have one of our guests play the pipe organ? And they're like, oh yeah, sure. So so Chris, thank you for playing the pipe organ.
Yeah, the audio is not really coming through, but that's okay. One of the things I'm noticing about these groups, the people who have been on this Romania tour, the year that I went, and then this year, which this must have been last year, right? 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of these people, for the most part, have taken more than one more tour with us.
Yeah.
So I think that
Yeah.
tells you something. And in fact, our friend Linda, who went on this year, 2022, is commenting on the video right now how much she loved this tour. So I think that everybody watching this video should take this tour, because then you're going to get hooked on taking tours with us.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. And we could have you on next year's Romania presentation with when you play the organ or whatever like that. So yeah. You know, and then when you go to these little villages, then you basically go to someone's house that they also kind of cook for people from time to time, and they put out a huge food spread when you go there, and desserts and everything. It's really, it is, I think food is love there. And this is the lady who had us for lunch there when I was there. It's just so many nice people. And then
And
we
this is
found,
when we did the wine tasting, right? In the Saxon village. Yep.
exactly. Yep. And then of course, and that's the thing, like, you know, Romania, the last probably 4 or 5 years, is definitely kind of up and coming on the wine scene. So yes, there's wine there. In fact, I think they're easily in the top 10 in Europe as far as, you know, wine they produce. I'm sure almost none of it gets to the States, but you know, you can do wine tastings here. So this was in one of these little Saxon villages, you know, not so far from these big medieval cities.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised about the quality of wine that we had at that wine lunch. I think it looks like the same place. That was really a big surprise that they had some quality wines, and actually cognac too. I just used some of the cognac I bought there in 2019 the other day.
Wow, hey, that's all right. I'm glad you brought some back. Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised too, because probably when I went there 15 years ago, the first time, it was, you had some, you know, maybe some house wine kind of at some restaurant, and you're like, yeah, okay. But yeah, no, there's some. I had a food tour there once. Or I had a food tour once, and a guy was in Romania beforehand, and he was like, oh yeah, the best wine I had in like 3 weeks in Europe was this one little winery in Romania. And I was like, you know, hey, wow. And they do beer, lots, of course, like everywhere, Sarah, there's craft beer, but and there's actually quite a few good ones. So that's something. There's some nice pubs to go to, and you know, for people who don't know, like when you're, you know, they're not on the euro, they still have their Romanian lei that they use, but it's very affordable. I mean, it's not cheap. It's not cheap. It's not the cheapest place in Europe, but the value proposition is really good because, you know, the food quality is good. So when you're eating out, it's a great value. I had to include this. I met this policeman who was just asking our tour leader like what we were doing or whatever, and then we just started chit-chatting, and he wanted to get a picture of me, and I was like, this is awesome. Like I never talk with a policeman or policewoman in Slovenia or almost anywhere, and this guy's like, hey, oh right, glad, and he's like, glad you're coming and visiting our town. I mean, this is like almost, you know, when the pandemic was not yet all gone or whatever, just friendly guy.
Yeah. Well, and also just as a reminder, like you said, the tour is 11 or 12 days. Is that right?
It's 11. Yeah, it's 11 days. It starts the 13th of April to the 24th of April.
And it comes in at about $300 a day, and that includes almost everything. I can't imagine that you need a whole lot more money outside of that, because we feed you a lot. It includes all of your transportation and all of that. So basically it's just that and then your flight and everything else is included. So this is one of our best value tours, I think.
Oh, definitely. And this is Sarah's favorite city in Romania, Brasov.
Yeah.
And that's the church in the background is called the Black Church, which has a lot of really amazing tapestries from Turkey, from that the Ottomans brought there. I went there. I did some research. I think that was January of 2019. So things covered in snow, but it's such a beautiful city. That's one of the city gates, one of the entrances to the city in Brasov. And right above Brasov, you've got mountains. So people go there in the wintertime, go skiing. And because they have the mountains, it means they also sometimes have bears there, although I've yet to see one in the city. But I've been told, like, if you live in Brasov, you're probably gonna, have the bears rummaging through your garden garbage once in a while. Main Square, that's an Orthodox church, but quite not your typical Orthodox church that's right there in the square.
And I promise we don't take you to KFC for dinner.
No. Did we have KFC in the? Oh, we did. Oh my goodness, yeah.
But the point on that though that's interesting is that a lot of people think that, like I said, Romania is something from a different time, and it is in a lot of ways, but there's a Starbucks on that main square. So, you also have the modern stuff. So you get kind of just a beautiful mix of contemporary and from the past. And like I said, our hotels were all really beautiful, actually, really nice, very comfortable European quality hotels, I would say, right?
Yes, and I mean the coffee culture there. I love it. There's one place, a cafe that had like 30 different types of hot chocolate. I was like, how come I don't have this? I mean, this isn't even Bucharest. This is some medium-sized city, but I'm always amazed. Like, the infrastructure there is great. The Brasov also has a synagogue here. So yeah, and I don't know. I'm trying to think though, off the top of my head, do they have a mosque? But you've got Orthodox Catholic and Greco-Catholic and synagogue in a lot of different places there. This is just some kind of cool like art graffiti on one of the walls there, because I mentioned there are a lot of bears in the neighboring hills and forests. So I think that might be their town symbol. And then I wanted to include this because this is such an interesting shop and a boutique hotel.
I stayed there. That was amazing.
I was there and I was like, I think Sarah should stay here. It reminds me of some, like, I don't know, really cool boutique shop that used to exist on Capitol Hill, but I don't think those were as cool as this. But there's an interesting story because this Katharina woman is called Villa Katharina, is what's her name? Katharina Siegel. The rumor is, I don't think anyone has a definite answer, that she was Vlad the Impaler's mistress, and they had 5 children together.
Oh, you never told me that.
Yes. So, I mean, and there's this letter, and it's this whole thing, this, I'm a Saxon. My father is one of Brashov's most famous sewers, which is blah, 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 blah. 500 years ago, I was finding myself in the narrow streets of mysterious Kronstadt, which was the German name for Brasov. And then she goes on and how she met this guy, and I was about to find out his name was Vlad the Impaler, and I was smitten the moment he held my hand in his own with the strength of a man who knows how to make and keep a promise. It doesn't say anything about like all the impalements, but hey, this is kind of like a love story letter. So she's like,
well,
impalements, I don't know.
A love story and a guy with the name Impaler. I think we need to move on before we get canceled, right?
Exactly. But they do have amazing shoes. I thought this shop was so cool.
And I have some really cool earrings I bought there. So yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay, good. Yeah. This place. And yeah, they come to, I mean, I don't think I bought anything. I took a ton of pictures, but super nice place. It's one of those like little boutique shops that I totally dig. And this is a sign for this one street. It's one of the narrowest streets in Europe. It's called the Rope Street. And it's super narrow like this. It's all painted. Sometimes it's covered in graffiti, and then other times they repaint over it and they just paint it different colors. And there's a whole rope that goes through the thing. And you'll know that there's the Rope Street because they have this figurine that's covered in rope next to it. So you can kind of get through one main part of the city to the other main part through that rope street. So I just thought I'd show that. And then we have a Pelish castle. We're ending on that. This is a beautiful castle. It's right where like the border of Transylvania and Wallachia. Wallachia is another like region or state of Romania, and just a gorgeous, one of the most gorgeous castles that I visited. That it's just, I think you guys were here. You had to be here. I don't think you would have missed this one.
I went to that. That was so impressive. And it was, I mean, I didn't know anything about Romanian history. So it was very interesting to learn about the noble families of Romania and just the craftsmanship with all the beautiful details of the woodwork and all of that. It's gorgeous. Like that is a castle's castle for sure. Like if you really if you're a castle connoisseur, this one should definitely be on your list, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's got even like the secret rooms. I'm like, I wish they like, please offer us like that secret tour, you know, that we pay extra for, but then can go behind the walls and stuff like that. Because it's just,
what it reminds me of a lot is Neuschwanstein in Germany, in Bavaria. Very similar vibe, and I think even a similar time frame. I think this is from like the 18th, 19th century.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, I think this is like late 19th. But just like I mean, this like spiral staircases going up here. It's so many details. It's such a amazing place. Most castles, I mean, you probably feel the same way. Most castles you go to, they look cool, but you're like, man, if I actually had to live here, it'd be, you know, it's like no. But this is like, yeah, I want to live here right now.
Okay, I know what your aesthetic is. Maybe not my aesthetic, but hey.
Hey, I want the place that's got the hidden room, you know, the library that you swing out and all of a sudden you're like in some James Bond, you know, like hidden place or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed our little slideshow of Romania. I have a few pictures I'd like to share with you guys, so I'm going to put those together for a post over the weekend so you can see a little bit more of the beauty of Romania. But if you're interested in traveling with us, we do have space available this April, and that is for the Eastern Orthodox Easter. So you'll get to experience that with our friend George, and it really is, it's neat. I mean, if you have time, it's 11 days well spent, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean it is. I think that in the time of the year there too, it's April, so you've got nice weather and you've got this. I mean, even if you didn't have the Orthodox Easter, you still have all these traditions and things going on in Marmorish. But with that on top of it, and seeing and hearing from our guests that went this year during that time period, it's just something. It's really special, and it's really nice that, like, you know, that George will say, hey, I'm going to set aside the Easter Orthodox weekend for you guys and for your tours. So,
and also just if you have heard the name George in Romania before and that rings a bell, it's because George was one of the instrumental people that helped us move money that you guys sent, aid to Ukraine. He was the one who actually used the money that we collected from all of you to drive to the border and ferry refugees across into Europe. So if that tells you kind of the caliber of the people we work with in Romania, I'm not sure what else I could say. That was a heroic effort that George made to make sure that the money that we collected went to a good place.
And not only that, some of these families that he helped out maybe 6-7 months ago, he took them on like their own, like the because it's usually the mom with like 2 or 3 kids. He took some of them on like here's a tour of Romania, just cool stuff for kids. So he took them to Dracula's castle and that Pelish castle we just saw and other places, and did stuff like that because he was still in contact with them. So anyway, yeah, a big shout out and thank you to everyone who donated money for that, because I mean, I worked with George and he was saying, oh yeah, I'm going to be at the border here, or this family is going to go to Bulgaria, so when I get back from Bulgaria, I'll check in with you or whatever. So he was always doing some amazing stuff.
Yeah, it's just amazing what this community is able to do, hooking up travelers with incredible local people who can do amazing things. So a big thank you to everybody. And a big thank you, of course, to Andrew for joining us today, for helping us resurrect Slideshow Friday. So I hope, thank you always for your input and your lovely pictures. I'm going to try to put together a few little videos that I have from the past, just to kind of continue on the theme of Romania this weekend. So I'll put up the one about the Mary Cemetery, and then Andrew, you have those few from George that maybe you can put together. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. I'll put some of the stuff that I showed today up as well.
So if you're interested in Romania, we will be offering it again. I can guarantee you in 2024, but if you'd like to go in 2023, we are offering it in April. So for sure, put this on your list. I would say it's one of the best values in Europe, but also who knows how much longer the Romania is going to have this kind of culture, you know, the modern days may eventually come to Romania. You never know.
Yeah, it's like, oh, say it ain't so. But yeah, I mean, it's yeah, there's not as many horse carts as there used to be 15 years ago, but like, hey, that's everyone wants to live in the same kind of world that most of us want to live in, but this is still the time travel back, so take advantage while you can.
Yeah, see it while it's still there. So, well, thanks for joining us, everybody, today. This weekend, we're going to have some more fun things posted. And if you didn't already see it prior to this post, Andrew posted a really fun little video with my kids from last February, when they taste tested stracciatella. So you can find out who has the best gelato in Rome. That's like the ultimate question, really. So I'm glad you guys sorted that out for everyone.
I think I'm going to make one of those in Romania. I'll be like, who's got the best polenta in Romania?
There you go. All right.
But not as fun as the gelato one, for sure.
Well, thanks for joining
everyone.
us, everybody. We wish you a very good weekend, and we'll see you next week. Ciao.
Ciao.